everyone, I'm Jody of Lambent Crochet, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Cheeky String Bikini top. You'll need a skein of Bernat Maker Home Deck yarn, a G 4mm hook, a pair of scissors, and a darning needle. One thing I'd like to mention before we begin is that this bikini top is completely customizable, so it's able to fit everyone's shape and size just right. Okay, so we first begin by constructing the bikini cups. So start off by making a slip knot, and now do a chain that measures the bottom of your breast to the center of your nipple. And then add 2 additional chains for the turning chain. Okay, so now that I've completed my chain with the measurement that I needed, plus the additional 2 chains, I'm going to make a half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. Then I'm going to continue making a half double crochet in every chain, but I'm going to stop when I have 1 chain left. Okay, so now that I have 1 chain left, I'm going to now do 3 half double crochets into that last chain. This is going to form the top peak of the bikini cup. Okay, so now that you've completed the 3 half double crochets in the very last chain along the row, we're going to turn our work over, so we're going to be working on the bottom side of the starting chain. So quickly count the amount of half double crochets you made before making the 3 half double crochets in that last stitch, and make the same amount of half double crochets along the bottom of the starting chain. Now, I do recommend that you write this number down because it's going to come in handy for the next row. I also want to point out that I am hiding the tail of my work in this row of half double crochets along the bottom of the starting chain. So I'm just laying the tail over top of the stitches that I'll be working and working my half double crochets right around it. Just makes things a lot easier for me when it's time to weave in my ends. This step is completely optional and not mandatory to work this pattern. Okay, so now that row 1's complete, let's move on to row 2. So go ahead and chain up 2 for the turning chain and turn your work. Now this is where you're going to need that number that you wrote down for the amount of half double crochets you made before reaching the peak of the 3 half double crochets in the center stitch. Using my row count as an example, I had 14 half double crochets before meeting the 3 half double crochets in the top center peak. So for row 2, I need to make 15 half double crochets and then make 3 half double crochets in the next stitch, followed by 15 half double crochets. So whatever your number was in row 1 before making the 3 half double crochets for the top center peak, you need to take that number and add 1 additional half double crochet to it for row 2. And be sure that you're doing the same amount of half double crochets on either side of the 3 half double crochets in the center of the top peak. Okay, so now I have row 2 complete. Now notice that there is some curving happening where the 3 half double crochets are, and that's exactly what we want. So now chain 2 and turn your work to begin row 3. Now using my stitch count as example again, since row 2 I had 15 stitches before making the 3 half double crochets in the top center peak, followed by another 15 half double crochets. For row 3, I'm going to do 16 half double crochets, then make 3 half double crochets in the next stitch, followed by 16 half double crochets. So whichever number you had for the previous row, just add 1 more half double crochet to that before making your 3 half double crochets in the top center peak. Now keep doing this formula for each consecutive row. Keep adding 1 additional half double crochet to your count before making the 3 half double crochets of the top of the center peak until you've reached your desired coverage. And keep in mind that your stitch count is going to increase by 2 additional stitches with each consecutive row. So here is my completed bikini cup. I did a total of 11 rows to reach my desired coverage. So now we're going to turn our work to continue along the bottom edge of the bikini cup. We're going to be making a single crochet in every half double crochet row. So since I made 11 rows to reach my desired coverage, I'm going to be making 22 single crochets along the bottom edge. So go ahead and chain 1 and make 1 single crochet for every row along the bottom edge. So take the number of rows that you crocheted to reach your desired coverage and multiply that number by 2, and that's how many single crochets you should have along the bottom edge. When you've completed making your single crochets along the bottom edge, chain 2 and turn your work. Make a half double crochet in the back loop only of every stitch along the bottom edge. This front loop is going to come in really handy when it's time to attach our cups to the strap. At the end of the row, chain 2 and turn your work. You'll now be making 3 rows of half double crochet along the bottom edge. When you've finished all 3 rows, chain 1, cut your yarn and tie off, but be sure you leave a long tail as we're going to be sewing the last row of half double crochet to the row with the front loop that is unworked. Okay, so now that my last row of half double crochets is complete, I'm going to chain 1, cut my yarn and tie off, leaving a long tail, and then we're going to continue on working the top strap of the bikini cup. Okay, first you'll want to locate the second half double crochet of the 3 half double crochets in the top peak. You're going to join your yarn to that stitch and then make a chain to your desired length for the top strap. I'm going to do a total of 70 chains plus 1 for the turning chain. So whichever amount that you wanted to do, whatever length you're happy with, be sure to add 1 additional chain for the turning chain. Then in the second chain from the hook, make a slip stitch and continue to slip stitch in every chain of the strap. When you've completed the last slip stitch along the strap, make a slip stitch in the next stitch along the bikini cup. Then chain 1 to tie off and cut your yarn. Repeat the same steps to make your second bikini cup. The only change you need to make is when you're joining your yarn to the top peak of your second bikini cup, make sure you're joining your yarn on the opposite side that you did your first cup. So if you joined your yarn when your cup was facing right side out for your first cup, be sure to join your yarn when your cup is facing wrong side out. That way when you join your strap to the bikini cup after slip stitching down the row of chains, both bikini cups will have the strap joined at the same stitch and they'll both look symmetrical. Now moving on to the bottom strap underneath the bust. So create a slip knot and make a chain that wraps around the circumference of your rib cage comfortably. Then add an additional 70 chains plus 1 for the turning chain. Make a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook and all the way down the row of chains. When you're finished, chain 1 to cut your yarn and tie off. Now we're going to be attaching our bikini cups to the strap. So lay your strap over top of the bikini cup where the rows of half double crochet are on the bottom. Thread the tail of the bikini cup through your darning needle, then fold the last row of half double crochet up and over top of the bottom strap. Then begin to sew the bottom row of half double crochet to the row with the exposed front loop. Be sure you're doing this carefully and that you do not poke the darning needle through the bottom strap. Repeat the same steps to join your second bikini cup. Then when you're finished, weave in all of your ends. Here is what the Cheeky String Bikini top looks like when it's all finished and ready to wear. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if so, please give me a like and share some love in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click on that bell button so you'll always be notified when I have a new video uploaded. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook, so pop on over, give me a like and a follow, and you can tag me in all of your crochet-related posts where you learned a new technique or pattern from watching these tutorials. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you real soon.